guys, welcome back to my channel, Simply Maggie. If you are new here, I teach all things knitting related, arm knitting, needle knitting, also some crochet. So today I'm going to teach you how to make these knit pot holders with this little handle here, and that's optional. You don't need to make this little loop. I can show you another way to make a loop just out of yarn if you want to hang it. For this one here, I used this macrame recycled cotton yarn. It's by Lion Brand Yarn. I will link this below for you. And then for this pot holder here, I used this macrame yarn. I got this one on Amazon. I don't remember the brand, but I will link this down below. Those are my two favorite things to make these pot holders with. Next, if you want to make this to hang your pot holder, what you're going to need is a hole punch and these little rivets, and then also some fabric. So the needle size that I use for my pot holders is a 10mm US size 15 needle. And then of course you're gonna need some scissors. And I need to take my dog's toy away because you're gonna hear squeaking the entire time. For the sake of time in this video, I'm just going to knit one pot holder today. And I'm gonna use the cream colored macrame yarn here. And the first thing you wanna do is cast on 16 stitches. What I like to do is take my yarn and wrap it around my needle 16 times. Loosely. And that'll kind of give you an estimate of how much yarn that you're going to need. That way you don't use too much and then have a long tail and you won't waste your yarn this way. So then you just kind of unravel it. Okay, so we have our tail here for our long tail cast on, and then go ahead and make your slip knot. Insert your needle and cast on your 16 stitches. So the slip knot counts as your first one, so we'll do 15 more. 2, 3. Okay, so we have our 16 stitches on our needle, and now we're gonna begin knitting. So I like to have a nice clean edge. If you can see here, it's a nice straight edge on both sides. So to get that clean edge, what you want to do is make sure you're using the working yarn here. You want the yarn in front of your needle. You're going to slip this purlwise, or as if to purl, onto your right needle, and then you take your yarn and you move it to the back, and then you're going to go ahead and knit all of your stitches. So this yarn is a little bit stiff since it's macrame yarn, so the first row is a little bit tricky to knit, but I'm going to go ahead and knit all of my stitches. So we've knit our first row. Go ahead and turn your needle around. And remember, the first stitch of every row, you want to put the yarn in front of your needle. You're going to slip the first stitch off purlwise, move the yarn to the other side, and then knit your entire row. So we have completed 2 rows. We want to knit a total of 22 rows. So we need to do 20 more rows, and then I will come back and show you how to end your pot holder. So I have my 22 rows here all done, and Now we're going to bind off our pot holder. So again, make sure the yarn is on this side of your needle. Slip that first stitch, move your yarn to the other side, and then we're going to knit one, not too tight. You want to keep it just a little bit loose, and you're going to take the first stitch, pull it over and off of your needle. Again, knit one, slip this one over and off. And you're going to do that across the entire row to bind off your pot holder. So here is our finished edge. You can just kind of pull on that a little bit to straighten out the stitches. And now, if you don't want to purchase all these little parts here to make the leather loop here to hang your pot holder, you can just make a chain with the yarn. So you can take your needles out and you can either use a crochet hook and make a chain, or you can just use your fingers and pull up a chain like this. So I would do, let's see, maybe a chain of 10. So that's 2, 3, 4. So this is a chain of 10. You can kind of see what that looks like there. And then you would just loop it over. And at this point you would cut the yarn and pull it through right here and then secure it with a knot on the other side. So you could do it that way. That's perfectly fine if you don't want to purchase all the pieces to make the other loop. But I am going to actually do it with the fabric. So I have this last loop here that would have been on my needle, and I'm going to cut about a few inches away. You can put your yarn aside and then go ahead and pull that through here. Pull it nice and tight. And now we're going to weave in our ends. I have this yarn needle here, and I'm just going to try to fit this through that hole. It is thick. Okay. And we're gonna go just along the edge, go up here, and kind of follow the stitches. So that's that. I'm just gonna cut the excess yarn, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side here, this other end, and we'll go ahead and cut that. All right, so there is our finished pot holder without the loop. It's just your basic knit square. So next I'm going to show you how to make this loop here. You're going to start with your fabric. You don't have to use this kind. You can use whichever kind of fabric you prefer. Now you might need some sharper scissors. I'm going to try to use these ones here and see if they can cut my fabric. So I'm just going to do about half of this, and about a 1/2 inch thick. It doesn't have to be perfect, so we're gonna fold it in half and see if it is, yeah, it'll be just the right length. Now what you want to do is take your hole punch, place the fabric on there so that the hole will be centered. Give it a squeeze, and I'm just gonna make mine just a tad wider. Okay, and then you have your hole there, and then we're gonna do the same thing to the other end. Pick a corner on your pot holder, and we want to make it so that the rivet will fit through there. So take your rivet. First, you can go ahead and put that through there. Go right through the pot holder to the other side, and then you take your fabric, fold it over, and push it right through the other hole there. And now you can take the other end of your rivet, push it right on there to secure the loop in place. Squeeze it nice and tight. And there you have your finished pot holder. And you can throw these right in the wash whenever you need to. The yarn is cotton, so I would just wash it on gentle and then place it somewhere flat to dry. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. These make great gifts for the holidays, or if you want to make handmade gifts for your family members. These are quick, easy to make. All right, guys, I will see you in my next video. Bye.